The city of Providence is not only the capital of Rhode Island, it's also considered the creative capital of New England. It is renowned for its thriving educational and artistic communities. So when challenged with increasing tourism to the restored waterfront, the city came up with a very uncommon solution. A magical celebration of the night, which for the past 15 years has captured the imagination of over 10 million visitors. Barnaby Evans is the creator of this extraordinary work of art called Waterfire.
The initial impetus for me being interested in doing a waterfire was a very daring project by the larger community of Rhode Island to actually uncover the Woonasquatucket, the Moshassuck River, and to build a park through the middle of downtown. I used to come down to this beautiful park, but it was often empty, particularly at night. Somehow we have this fear of the dark. It's a very ancient fear, and we used to resolve our fear to the dark by creating fires. And it occurred to me we might be able to bring people downtown by celebrating the magic of the darkness by illuminating it with firelight. And it's a very simple ritual. It goes back not generations, but millennia of our gathering together around a fire, interacting with each other, talking, listening to music, celebrating. Tens of thousands of people, each in this quiet space. We actually turn off many of the streetlights in order to emphasize the darkness and celebrate that dynamic between light and dark or between fire and water. And that at the heart is what Waterfire is. And the magic comes from all the people who come.
You forget that you're in this city where people work and are hustling and bustling around during the day. And there's so much serenity. There's a huge crowd here every night that we do a water fire, but they're all peacefully walking up and down the river, sitting by the sides of the river, talking to strangers, just communing together as a city. You can't get that anywhere else, I don't think.
When you come to Waterfire, you're entirely surrounded by being there in that evening. You're surrounded by the people who are there, but you're also surrounded in all of your senses. The light is brought to the darkness of the evening by the fires, but there's also the crackle of the fires. There's the aromatic smell of the cedar and pine smoke that also envelops you. You can sort of taste the fire. There's the warmth. You feel the radiant heat from the fire.
And then, of course, the music, the rhythms. And it's not so much the lyrics of songs that captivate people. It's this steady rhythm that's on the river. It doesn't matter what language you speak, what continent you grow up on, whether you grow up in a village or a city. Waterfire speaks to you without interpretation. It speaks to you directly. You don't need anybody to tell you what the experience is or to translate the experience for you, because it happens for you in this almost mystical way that it connects directly to every human being.
Hi, I'm Sean Conway, and welcome to Cultivating Life. Today's show is all about Newport. We'll be learning about a favorite pastime in Newport, digging for clams, visit a fascinating stone engraving shop that has been in operation since 1705, and we'll make a delicious clam chowder recipe straight from the kitchen of Newport's famed Castle Hill Resort. So you won't want to miss this show. And remember, reconnecting to the land is as easy as stepping out your back door. With its spectacular coastal scenery, awe-inspiring architecture, and thriving waterfront downtown, Newport, Rhode Island is perhaps one of the most beautiful cities in New England. Over a century ago, during the Gilded Age, some of America's wealthiest families built lavish summer homes here. Many of these historic mansions still stand and are now open to the public. The big houses such as the Breakers, the Marble House, and Rosecliff are beautiful and spectacular, but they also contain about 80 acres of grounds and gardens. And all of the gardening tasks are done in one central location. And here today to give me a behind-the-scenes tour is Jeff Curtis from the Preservation Society of Newport County. How many kinds of flowers are you growing, or what are you growing exactly?
Well, we have delphinium and snapdragons here. Those are the flowers that are in bloom now.
And when do you start growing everything?
Generally right after Christmas.
And what's the process you go through to actually get the flowers from here into the big, beautiful arrangements that are in the houses?
Well, the first thing that the girls do when they report to work is to come out here and cut all the flowers that they're going to need for the day. They'll bring them into the potting shed, they'll clean them, put them in water, and then into the cooler.
And those arrangements are so big. How do they?
We have a van that's designed to transport them to the houses.
When do they have to be delivered to the houses before all the people come?
Well, the house is open at 10 o'clock, so they have to be out by 10 o'clock.
Jeff, do you cut specific flowers for specific houses?
Sure, because there's a lot of different colors in the different rooms of the houses. A lot of the rooms have very bright colors, so the flowers that we pick and choose for that particular room have to match the drapes and the carpeting and everything else.
So there's a whole nother level of detail into this than
sure, there
you
sure
think
is.
about. And what types of flowers are you growing here?
Sean, we grow everything from A to Z in this garden. Every flower that you can think of that makes a good cut flower, we grow.
Well, Jeff, that was really interesting to see what goes on behind the scenes. This is fascinating.
Sure.
Thanks. Next, we'll visit a 17th century stone engraving shop and learn all about this historic art form.